Hello everybody, my name is Jackson and welcome back to Sunfisk and Chill. On today's video, I will be revisiting the old Pixar ranking that Austin, Patty, and Christian did themselves about 9 months ago. Um, when that video came out, I definitely did have problems with their ranking, or I was very, very confused on some of their positions in the rankings, as many of y'all were in the comments as well. If you don't know what video I'm talking about, I'll put like a little tab thing up there, I think, maybe, and you can go check it out for yourselves, just so you have some context for this video. So yeah, so go over there, go watch that video, or get a refresher, watch it again, because I'm about to show their rankings right about now. So as you can see, that was Stunfisk and Chill's ranking of the Pixar movies from 9 months ago. Obviously, I wasn't in that video because I wouldn't allow this type of list to be posted on the YouTube channel. But yeah, so before we hop into the 22 movies, what I'm thinking of doing is I'm gonna go one by one movie from the bottom all the way to the top, place it in my ranking, and talk about the movie. So, but 9 months ago, there wasn't really like, not there wasn't really, but two new Pixar movies have came out since that ranking, so I'll place them on my ranking first. First movie I want to talk about is Soul. Soul is a movie about this music teacher who he kind of dies and then he discovers himself through becoming a soul again and being reborn, technically. I really do like the themes in this movie, and what Pixar does is actually really brilliant in terms of the soul stuff and the music teacher stuff. I would probably place it around mid, but this movie is still a very good movie. Pixar is one of my favorite animation studios, so like a mid ranking for a Pixar movie is a very, very good ranking for like any movie in general. My problem with this movie is they do this. I'm not gonna totally spoil any of these movies unless they're like very old, but the problem with Soul is kind of in the middle where they do like the movie completely shifts into like one of those type movies. If you've seen Soul, you know what I'm talking about. And I want to say it takes away from the experience. It really unravels like how what every little moment means, or every little moment means, and how you gotta like what's the word? How you gotta like can't sweat the small stuff. Every little thing is something to pay attention to. So it does do that, but it also does if you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spoil, but yeah, so that makes it placed at like 13-ish. Next up we got Luca. I can't talk today. It's just going to be placed here at 16. Luca's a very good film. It's about a friendship, about these two kids who also have another side to them that isn't really accepted, and it finds itself being very enjoyable. It has lots of good messages and themes. It's like a really solid Pixar movie. I'd watch it again. Yeah, I've actually seen Soul like 3 times before, but I'd watch Luca again if someone put it on. So yeah. Anyways, now let's go to the San Francisco Chill ranking. Time to question what they were thinking when they made that. Okay, The Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur it's really just a tech demo in my opinion. It it kind of sets up some sort of story, but then it's like a really long adventure with characters we totally don't really care about. There isn't really like a reason to ever watch the movie again. It has like one kind of funny scene, and then it also copies The Lion King and like some part of in like the beginning with Mufasa dying. It kind of like completely copies that. Um, but there is a reason why this was the lowest grossing Pixar movie. So yeah, I as you can clearly see, I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I put it at around 23. I don't think it's the worst Pixar movie. I'll talk about the worst Pixar movies in a second, but yeah, it's just so to me. It's just a really meh movie, to be honest. Next up is Brave. I don't really like Brave at all. It's like at the beginning, it has like a thing. It has stuff going for it, but as the adventure unravels, especially the final act, it's like, what am I watching anymore? There's like bear transformation, and I don't even know, and they all got really strong Scottish accents, which is kind of fine, but it's kind of really stupid. Although they're supposed to be Scottish, I don't know why I call it stupid. But it's a really distracting film, and I just don't find any. What the? Why did it? Why is it bolt? I don't find any pressure, or I mean not pressure. I don't really find any pleasure in watching that movie again. So for number 20, they rank Toy Story 4 here. Um, I simply do not agree with this ranking. I'm not like a big. Okay, so here's the thing. Toy Story 4. It's a great way of completing Woody's arc. That's what I'll say about that. It's it doesn't really do much for me, at least for the franchise in general. I really do believe that Toy Story should have just ended as a trilogy. I mean, this movie is obviously a cash grab, but I think they actually did a really nice job in concluding Woody's story. There is some fun new characters, fun new concepts, kinda. The villain is someone. It's a villain that like it's a type of villain we've seen before, and I think it's a pretty okay movie. I guess you could say. So I'll put it at 17. I know people really like this movie. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. Okay, so next one up, we got Inside Out at 19. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what the other council members are thinking. Inside Out is I called it's a really like amazing visual experience, and its attention to like exploring the themes of emotion and how it impacts memories and stuff. I think it's phenomenal work by Pixar. The characters are memorable. The story is very memorable. Was it Bozo? Jojo? What's the Bozo? Is it Bozo? The elephant, the pink elephant guy. He is awesome, and I really do like the adventure that Joy and Sadness have. That interaction is like very cool, and then there's also like Riley, like what would happen if you don't have Joy. It's a very interesting movie. It's beautifully made. It's I wouldn't say it makes you cry, but like if you're very emotional, it definitely will. I'd put Inside Out at number 6. Alrighty, on to number 18, Onward. Onward is a very interesting movie. It was the newest one when they made this list. I really did enjoy Onward. Onward has like it's a very I'd say epic adventure. It has a lot of callbacks things I like D&D, and I just really like how it's just two brothers. They get in the van and they just go on an adventure. I I typically like those movies when they're well done. I do think Onward is a very well done um, version of that type of story. I also really like how it's Tom Holland and Chris Pratt as voice actors. I think their chemistry is very fun. The world building and the universe that they're in is also very very cool. And yeah, I just really had a blast watching Onward. Um, Let me think. I think I put Onward at like 12. I'd say it's slightly better than Soul just because of the fun adventure that you go on. It's very I call it a great movie. Number 17, they put A Bug's Life. I generally agree with that placing. Um, A Bug's Life is just it's just one of those movies. I really do enjoy every time I watch A Bug's Life. I I have it on VHS. I watched it a lot as a kid, but I'm not like a I don't think it's like one of Pixar's better movies. It's probably looks the worst probably out of all the Pixar movies. I recently watched Ants from DreamWorks, and that movie looks a lot worse than Pixar's A Bug's Life, and they were made about a month apart or released about a month apart. But like, I don't know. I don't want this to turn into an Ants review, but like that movie was so crappy that it had a lot of dumb jokes and dumb things that happen that are pretty interesting. A Bug's Life, it has a similar plot to like that movie because obviously the guy, he basically made the same movie, but Pixar rejected his idea, so then they made another movie. But anyways, A Bug's Life, it's a it's a very good movie. Um, and I don't really disagree with their placement at 17. So, but you see, I have it at 20, which might sound like bad, but like I really do tend to enjoy the movie whenever I watch it. Yeah, not much to say about A Bug's Life. So number 16, Finding Dory. I'm looking at this list we got here. I'm honestly surprised it even got that high. Finding Dory, it, it's very similar to Finding Nemo, at least the first two acts about finding your family and stuff. But like my really big problem with this movie, it's the third act. It is extremely messy. It kind of like steals stuff from like not only Finding Nemo, but like Toy Story 2, which are both very good Pixar movies. And it just fumbles it all in the end. Like it turns into like a chase scene on a road, but like the fish are like driving the cars, and it ends in a really like weird way. It's honestly not one of Pixar's greatest, and it's a movie that I can tell you this, I'm probably never gonna watch this movie again. I'd always pick Finding Nemo to it. I mean, that's quite obvious. And the adventure is just nowhere near as good as Finding Nemo. So I don't know what. I think Austin was the one who's like Finding Nemo is pretty okay, but it's really not. It's pretty not good. So I'd put it at 22, which might seem low, but I just have no respect for this movie at all. Anyway, number 15 is Coco. I really find Coco. I find it really disrespectful that it's as low as it is at 15. Coco is just one of those movies, man. It is so beautifully made. It does have a somewhat predictable story, but I just think the beautiful animation, the world that it creates, it's just so magnificent. I don't really mind the twist film that happens in the movie because I think it works in the grand scheme of things, and it really contributes to the overall theme of the movie in general. Coco is honestly, if you've never seen Coco, you have to, even if you're not familiar with what its background is in. I just think it's a really phenomenal one of Pixar. I just think it's really, blah, blah, blah. I just think it's really phenomenal. One of Pixar's greatest, top five greatest movies of all time. Number 14, they have The Incredibles 2. To be honest, I kind of agree with this ranking. And like a kind of mid tier Pixar. I am a very big fan of The Incredibles, but when I saw the sequel, I wasn't disappointed, but I was slightly let down from like I don't know. They what they do in this movie is very interesting. They shove the character. They focus the story on Elastigirl, which I like. But then they throw everyone off to the side. Violet doesn't. She kind of does the exact same arc as she did in the first Incredibles movie. And then Jack's better. And then Bob kind of just Mr. Incredible. He kind of just sits around the whole movie basically. And there isn't really they don't really explore as much into like all the other characters. They just like kind of briefly brush over them. And another problem is kind of the villain. It's also kind of a problem. It It was very predictable that evil CEO guy would have, evil CEO guy that wants superheroes to come back in the spotlight would want the English. It's very obvious that evil CEO guy has some part in the villainous backstory. So like it wasn't. I don't know how to say this. Didn't sit well with me. Some of the logic of the movie is kind of like awful. From the point where people are like, "Oh my God, the supers are turning evil," but they don't see the giant glasses on their heads, the mind control glasses. But yeah, I do like the action in this movie. It's still a fun Pixar ride. It's just disappointing compared to the first Incredibles. So I'd put it at where did I put it at? Hmm. I put it at 15. Um. Alrighty. Monsters University. Monsters University it's a very fun film for me. There is a lot of stuff that Monsters University Milo. Sorry, my cat Milo just wants to be in the video. But anyways, Monsters University at 13, I'm fine with. I'm not one of those people that hates on Monsters University, calls it something that shouldn't exist. I really do think it kind of adds on to the backstory of Mike and Sully. Um, although the Randall thing was kind of necessary, but Monsters University, it's kind of like a story that you've seen before, where like two guys at the round up a group of people who aren't really like that good at their profession, I guess you could say, of scaring, or at least they have to round them up, and then they somehow end up winning the thing or achieving their goal. I kind of really like the like university style and the adventure that they go on in this movie. Um, so yeah, like I said earlier, Mike and Scully are great. I don't know if it really. I can see the argument where people don't think it expands on the Monsters Inc. universe, but eh, I think it does offer a lot of fun to enjoy. So I'm gonna put that at. I'm actually gonna put that number 14. Alrighty, number 12, Wally. So there's two people in this universe. They're just in the universe in general. Not saying there's more than one universe, but there's two people. There's one group of people who think Wally's a solid, good movie, mid tier Pixar, and then there's people like me who think it's like the top of the top of Pixar's greatest movies, and I am in that top of the top. Wally is just it's it's just an experience to watch. It's like a robot romance, but it's so beautifully made, and it's so like it's so relatable in terms of like this could happen. Like the first 30 minutes of the movie, which is like the huge selling point, is about there how there's no dialogue. It's just Wally and Eve and their relationship starting, and then we shoot out in the outer space and we see what's happening to humans, and it's just a spectacle to watch. There's this is like one of Pixar's flawless movies in my opinion. The only reason why you might not like it is because of you might think it's boring, but I don't think it's boring at all. The universe that it creates is just magnificent. The spectacle is great, and the the whole what is it called? The axle. I forgot what the giant ship's called, but everything in there, it's just phenomenal, and that's why I have to put Wally at number one. Pixar's greatest movie. Why did that happen? What the? Okay, I guess that's just gonna be spaced out like that. Cause I don't feel like fixing it. Ratatouille at number 11. Just like Wally, there's like two people in this universe. There's the people that absolutely love Ratatouille and probably place it number one, or it's the people that like it and also think it's mid. It's kind of the same situation with Wally, but I'm one of those people who isn't like going bonkers about Ratatouille. I'd also put it. I put it in like I put it here at number 10. Ratatouille like creates. Oh, it doesn't really create a world, but it shows you the perspective of a rat who wants to cook. It's a very interesting concept with like the controlling the people and stuff, and it's a very wholesome movie. Um, like Wally, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know how. I don't really know if it totally connects with me like Wally does. Um, so yeah, that's why I have it at number 10. It's a great movie. I mean, you might like it more than I do, but yeah. Anyway, number 10 is Up. Oh man. Up is a the first let me just start. The first like 20 minutes, it's probably one of the best starts to a movie probably like ever. I don't know if there's really any debate to that, but at least animated movies, one of the best openings in any animated movie ever. Then it goes into a adventure, which I personally really enjoy. Um, and it also has a phenomenal conclusion. There's lots of things in this movie I can kind of relate to. It's the Boy Scout aspect and the whole adventure. The talking dogs are fun. Um, the giant floating house balloon thing is it's a great spectacle. I kind of like how it's one of those heroes. Um, the person they look up to is the villain. But I think what they do here is slightly better than what Coco's is, because there's just I wouldn't say there's a better like relationship, but there's a I just think it's handled slightly better. So yeah, that's why I put Up at number 4. That opening scene alone, like that probably would put it at number 1 if the rest of the movie was like that opening scene, because that's just Pixar excellence right there. Number 9 is Cars 3. Now I didn't really address this yet, but the fact that there's the fact that there's any Cars movies in the top 10, that's just blasphemy. But now, listen here. If you think Cars 1 is in the top 10, I'm not gonna like kill you about that opinion, because as a kid I love Cars. I really loved all the toys. I used to play with Cars toys all the time. But Cars 2 and Cars 3, that's just a big no-no for me. But so I'm just gonna do all the Cars movies. I'm just gonna talk about them right now. But let's start with Cars 3. Actually, no. Let's start with Cars 1. Cars 1, the world of Radiator Springs is it's quite a spectacle. Radiator Springs is actually like really, really, really nice part of the movie. It has lots of fun characters that are very memorable, just like Tomater and Sally. But you see, for me at least, there's one character that kind of is just very questionable, and that's Lightning McQueen. As a kid, I was always a Mater fan. I never really truly liked Lightning McQueen. I love Owen Wilson though, and I love his performance. But I don't know if I understand where Pixar was going with Lightning McQueen's character in this story, but I don't really. How do I put this? I don't really like Lightning McQueen at all. He's so incredibly annoying throughout the story. He I don't really know if he gets fully redeemed. I mean, yes, he does see what happened to Doc Hudson and finishes the race with the Dinoco guy. But I don't know. There's Lightning McQueen in this movie. This leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But I put it here at 19, which is probably it's probably what most people would not do, which makes this kind of a hot take. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of the Cars franchise in general. Well, you might be surprised is what could be a number 18. Well, number 18 is actually Cars 2. I actually do like Cars better than Cars. Mainly because Cars 2 focuses on the best character in the Cars franchise, being Tow Mater. And it's pretty garbage. Like on like a film level, it's pretty garbage. However, I like the bonkers spy thriller insanity of it, and I'd rewatch that one over the other two Cars movies any day of the week. Like the spy thriller part just completely destroyed the movie for most, but I always find a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's not really a good movie, but it's and like if you look at any other like Pixar tier list besides the Stunfisk and Show one, which somehow has in the top 5 like that, I feel like that's just a disgrace to Pixar as an animation studio. But but if you look at like basically any other human being in the world's um Pixar ranking, you're probably going to see Cars 2 near the end. But I personally enjoy Cars 2 the most of all the Cars movies. Doesn't make it a good movie, but it's one movie I can have a lot of fun with. But the last Cars movie, Cars 3, is going to be here at number 21. I do think it's the weakest in the Cars franchise. It's so meh. It's the entire movie. I like the idea of Lightning McQueen being a boomer, and I also like how Jackson Storm's named after. I like how its name's Jackson. But besides that, there's nothing really great in Cars 3. But at least in Cars 3, they touch on about how Doc Hudson isn't in Cars 2. So I mean, at least they do that. But I'm just not a big fan of Cars 3 in general. It's just a meh movie. So yeah, number 8 in the Stunfisk and Show ranking, they had Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is a cinematic masterpiece for me, at least. You have the first two movies, which are both exceptionally good movies, but you also you add on to that in a way that like you don't really see in other movies. You have a phenomenal villain, which a good villain makes a good movie. Although that's not really true for Pixar, but like it really adds on to the experience. Um, you have this like there's so much fun stuff this movie does where it's a breakout movie, like a breakout escape prison type of movie, which is a really fun type of movie when you do it right. And I think Pixar absolutely nails this movie. It's probably the movie I have arguably the most nostalgia for, although I was scared of the monkey with the symbols but as a kid. But what they do with Woody and Buzz and everyone else, and everyone has their moments, it's just phenomenal by Pixar. It was made many years after, so you have Andy growing up, and it also concludes the Toy Story saga until the fourth one. But it concludes it perfectly, which makes me put it up here at number 2 is my second. Why is this? Oh my god! Why is it indenting now? Which makes it number 2. Whatever. Anyways, number 7, they have Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo number 7. That's a respectable ranking. It's in my top 10, as you can probably see. But Finding Nemo it's a great adventure. If you have it at number 1, I mean, I'm not complaining. It is a really great adventure about the dad Marlin finding his son Nemo. He goes through all these different parts of the ocean, makes a lot of fun scenes throughout. You also have Nemo doing his own thing, and it jumps back and forth, which makes it really entertaining. Yeah, I think Finding Nemo is a phenomenally made movie. The Marlin and uh, Marlin and Dory is a fantastic duo, but I want to put at number 9. It's not that I don't like Finding Nemo, it's just that I like everything above it more. So it doesn't take anything away from the movie. It's still like an amazing movie. Basically, anything the top 10 and above is like amazing. Pixar quality. And I don't have any problems with Finding Nemo. I just like 8 more movies better than it. So, number 6, they had Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. is another easy top 10 Pixar movie. I put it right here at number 7. The idea of monsters scaring humans to get power. It's just a really, really, really interesting concept. You have 2 great leads in Sully and Mike that really elevate this movie a whole nother level. Yeah, you have multiple like different like antagonists, I guess you could say, that make the movie really fun. And of course, if you're doing a movie about humans, you're going to have to throw the human in there to cause a ruckus, which drives the plot of the movie, and their relationship with Boo is so much fun. It's another movie that's easily top 10. A really fun adventure. Not taken away from it from being number 7, but I just think it's phenomenal. So we have Toy Story at number 4, which I'm going to put at here at the 8th spot. Toy Story is the Pixar classic. It has everything you could ever want in an animated movie. It doesn't really have any weaknesses. You have a great lead. You have a great. You got Buzz Lightyear too. You got Woody and Buzz. You really see him grow as characters in this movie. It's honestly it's a great adventure about them discovering themselves and what it is to be a toy. You can probably play like eight's probably pretty low for like any huge Toy Story fan. I love Toy Story. I'll watch it anytime. I just like everything above a little bit more. But yeah, Toy Story is phenomenal. It's actually a lot funnier than I thought it was. It has a lot of adult humor in it because Pixar is still finding out their uh, they're still finding their pace in all this. So yeah, Toy Story, phenomenal movie. If you've never seen Toy Story, I don't even know if I can talk to you. But number 8, yeah, I know it does seem pretty low, but like I said, everything 10 and above is just like top, or at least 9 and above is all top tier Pixar movies. Um, Last two movies are Incredibles and Toy Story 2. So you can see 3 and 11. You might be thinking, what the heck? But I'll talk about this movie first. Toy Story 2. I don't think it's the weakest in the Toy Story franchise. I A lot of people have it number 1 or call it the best of the Toy Story franchise. This is a hot take, by the way. Probably harder than most. Probably this movie and Cars are probably the two huge hot takes at least. But I don't know. There's just something with Toy Story 2 that I'm not as big as a fan of. The Woody getting kidnapped, I do think, is very important to his character's development. The Buzz and the gang going after Woody, I think that's my favorite part of the movie. When it cuts to them and they're trying to figure out how to save Woody, that's my favorite part of this movie. The Woody arc is very good, but I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me as well as other people. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, yes, Woody's Roundup, but also, like, it's weird kind of how, like, I don't know how to put this, but, like, the Jessie scene was very well done about, like, the music and her getting thrown around, but then being forgotten. It's just a weird change. Okay, I wouldn't say change, but like I'm trying to remember how the movie goes. It's like they're like, yeah, Woody's Roundup, but then like once Woody is kind of like adamant about, or like timid, I guess you could say, about joining Woody's Roundup, that's when Jessie breaks down because of um that's when Jessie breaks down about her kid, which also kind of convinces Woody even more to like not go with it or like not be with Andy because then that could happen to him, which is like kind of weird. But it also leads to the scene where Woody gets clean, which is probably one of the most satisfying scenes in Pixar history. But Yeah, there's just something about that Woody arc that just doesn't sit totally well with me. Um, I still really enjoyed Toy Story 2, especially when Emperor Zurg comes and then they had that whole Star Wars segment about I'm your father and whatever. And obviously, multiple buses is very cool. The traffic cone scene across the seats or across the streets, very, very good. Prospector Pete is he's weird. Like, yeah, I guess he's the villain, but like, I think Al's really the true villain in the movie. But yeah, it seemed like they just shoehorned like his villainous plans. Like obviously, like he wanted to go to the museum and whatever and complete the Woody's Roundup package, but like he's just a really weird character in general. And obviously, he's pulling the strings the whole time, which is kind of the point of his character. But I don't know. I just don't like Prospector Pete. Anyways, number three is The Incredibles. Why did it? I guess it'll just end up for top three. I guess The Incredibles is one of the best superhero movies of all time, early 2000s. Brad Bird does something excellent. He makes an excellent soundtrack. Oh, I didn't even talk about the soundtrack for any of these movies, but they are all phenomenal, except for like the bottom couple. But the soundtracks in all Pixar movies are absolutely phenomenal. But anyways, on to Incredibles. Incredibles is a superhero flick, which I love the superhero genre, and Incredibles does something even better with it. You have a family of supers, and you're thrown to the world. The world building is absolutely brilliant. Everything about this movie just works for me. It's one I can watch at any time. There's plenty of like adult jokes in this that makes it entertaining every time I watch it. So yeah, Incredible is easy top three for me. Number three though. So my ranking is Wally, Toy Story 3, Incredibles, Up, Coco, Inside Out, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Ratatouille. All those movies are just amazing, phenomenal. And we have Toy Story 2, Onward, Soul, which are all great, super good. Monsters Universe Incredibles 12? Was that there the whole time? Oh, God. Anyways, Incredibles. I wish there was Incredibles 12. Actually, maybe I don't want 9 more Incredibles movies or 10 more. Um, those are all good. Luca's good. Toy Story 4 is good, although unnecessary. Cars 2 is a mess, but a lot of fun. Cars is whatever. Bug's Life is nostalgic, but whatever. Cars 3 is meh. Finding Dory is meh. The Good Dinosaur is blah. And Brave is not good at all. So, anyways, thank you for watching as I revisited Sunfisk and Chill's their Pixar ranking, and I made my own too, including Luca and Soul. So, yeah, make sure you guys leave a like. Comment down below what do you think about my ranking. Is it any better than Sunfisk and Chill's ranking? So, still, I bet there's still some stuff that you guys aren't going to agree with, but yeah, I wanted to revisit the Pixar ranking because I'm a huge Pixar fan, and when I saw that ranking, I was just like, "What the heck are you thinking?" So yeah, like I said before, leave a like, comment your opinions, make sure you subscribe. You see, I could check it right now. Actually, let me check how many. Let me check the percentage of people not subscribed. You might have to play Jeopardy music. Do 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 do. Okay. You know what? I don't know where that information went, but bruh, I don't know where that information went, but last time I looked, it was about 40% of you are not subscribed. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. to let us know that you want more content. Um, I am looking forward to Turning Red, although it's a very interesting concept that I am very shaky on about. Just do your own research. But anyways, I'm somewhat looking forward to that movie. I'm curious on how Pixar is gonna do that. Turning Red, coming out early next year. There definitely is not gonna be a Pixar ranking anytime before that, but probably. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.